Welcome to Film My Watchlist. My name is Richard Keeney. Phantom Thread is the latest film by acclaimed auteur Paul Thomas Anderson, writer and director of Boogie Nights, There Will Be Blood and The Master, to name but a few. It reunites PTA with his There Will Be Blood star and three-time Oscar winner Daniel Day-Lewis, who has claimed that this will be his final film. It follows the enigmatic and eccentric Reynolds Woodcock, played by Day-Lewis, a master dressmaker in 1950s London who creates garments for the rich and famous. Living with his sister in a grand London mansion, Reynolds' life is acutely designed to fit his particular needs and shield him from any potential distractions. When Reynolds meets his new muse Alma, his obsessive and charismatic nature lures her into his unconventional, whirlwind existence. But will he chew her up and spit her out like every woman who's come before? Or will Alma prove to be more than the naive young waitress who just caught his eye? This film is a prime example of the stunning control and cinematic flair that PTA exhibits in his work. So much so that a narrative that would initially be off-putting is instead captivating, strange, unpredictable, and absolutely intoxicating. There have been a lot of great performances in the last year, but even some of the most noteworthy pale in comparison to the absolute masterclass on display with Daniel Day-Lewis and his more than worthy co-stars Lesley Manville and Vicky Krieps. The film rides the fine line between being rigidly structured whilst retaining enough fluidity to make every moment seem malleable to the actor's whims, as though a semi-improvised stage play with stunning editing, sound design, cinematography, and a beautiful score by Radiohead's Johnny Greenwood, who has scored There Will Be Blood and Inherent Vice for PTA in the past. Much like the acting, the score is intrinsically linked to the overall effect and success of Phantom Thread. Every aspect on display fits perfectly, and Greenwood's musical accompaniment is a huge factor in selling the film's irresistible atmosphere. The dizzying piano melodies portray a world of privilege and style, something overwhelming and austere yet beautifully attractive at the same time. Similarly, his symphonies mirror the agitation and growing stress of Reynolds. Regarding the cinematography, for which, unconventionally, PTA took the reins yet declined to take credit for, citing his camera assistants and gaffer as hugely instrumental in the process, it is absolutely stunning. Notable shots include a breathtaking New Year's Eve party in a Chelsea theatre, the riveting driving scenes where Reynolds tears through the countryside with the camera rigged to the vehicle with near fisheye lenses, and the evocative use of extreme close-ups. All of these, plus the many more stunning compositions in the film, tell the story visually with an assured control of cinematic language. Likewise, though PTA's dialogue is fantastically biting, funny and effective, many pivotal acting moments rely heavily on silence and subtle facial tics. Here, PTA allows his fantastic cast room to show off their immaculate physical acting. One moment at the film's climax is a perfect example of this, where pitch-perfect editing and captivating acting from Day-Lewis and Krieps creates a silent war of wits, a breathtaking flirtation that fully involves the viewer without the need for dialogue. The film starts a little slow, but much like Guadagnino's Call Me By Your Name, this is essential in selling the atmosphere of the narrative, which before you realise it has enveloped you like a beautiful boa constrictor. It's nearly impossible to avert your eyes from the lavish delights on screen. As aforementioned, the interplay between Day-Lewis and his co-stars Manville and Krieps is spellbinding. The two actresses prove themselves more than up to the task of sparring with one of cinema's all-time greats, and often come out victorious. Manville and Day-Lewis are fantastic and deserve the Oscar nominations that they have garnered. Day-Lewis, I feel, could be even more deserving than current frontrunner Gary Oldman in his naturalistic, beguiling portrayal. However, the unsung hero of the film is Vicky Krieps, a relatively unknown Luxembourgian actor who, with Alma, takes the position of a conduit for the viewer's reactions to Day-Lewis's impetuous yet captivating Reynolds. Krieps is by turns funny, sweet, intimidating, and utterly empathetic. Alma's relationship with Day-Lewis is, without hyperbole, one of the most involving and gripping cinematic romances of the last decade, and Krieps' evocative performance perfectly portrays the twists and turns in their tumultuous pairing. As a master of cinematic language, PTA, much like Day-Lewis's protagonist, sews the phantom threads throughout the film, placing sumptuous imagery in every scene. The use of food, consumption, and inability to consume is a huge thematic signifier which is evident throughout some of the film's most pivotal moments, including the beautifully realised climax. Much like the treatment of food, control and lack thereof dominates the narrative as well. Reynolds' control of those around him as he dictates his every whim in creating his beautiful dresses, while demanding ridiculous levels of obedience to his every need in order for him to be able to be the creative genius he so vehemently wants to be seen as, are strong elements of Day-Lewis's characterization. Reynolds is undoubtedly a bully who seeks to exert this control and dominance over all those around him, yet he finds himself at his most satisfied and complete when the pendulum swings the other way. His impetuous lashing out at those who love and care for him most, such as Alma and Cyril, is intriguingly counteracted by their refusal to be controlled, and their ability to turn the tables, making Reynolds the subject of their demands by contrast. Reynolds thrives in this unconventional living situation. He is a child at heart, a mummy's boy who wants to be cradled and reassured so that he can recover to be the intimidating fashion idol that he portrays himself as to others. The film has a lot to say about traditional gender norms, power, dependency, and love, and how each of these themes interact. PTA continues to prove his genius as a master filmmaker, while Day-Lewis gives one of the performances of his career alongside the scintillatingly great Manville and Krieps. By turns hilarious, alluring, gorgeous and eccentric, Phantom Thread is sincerely one of the most exquisitely beautiful cinematic experiences I have had in recent years, and I implore you to seek it out, even if the subject matter seems dull or uninteresting to you at first glance. I'm going to give Phantom Thread 5 stars. Thanks very much for watching. You can subscribe by clicking the button on screen, and check out some of our other reviews and podcasts and movie lists if they strike your fancy. Thanks again.